This is probably one of the best Harley-Davidson breakouts ever. This is the 2016 Harley-Davidson CVO Breakout. So this thing was made for speed and style, and it drives just as good as it looks. This is a fantastic machine for ripping on pretty good, and it looks good enough and does well enough. It could be your Sunday cruiser even if you want it, or just a commute bike. But when it comes time to put some power down, this thing has got it. So first thing you're going to notice is it is CVO, so you do get a little bit finer paint, so it's not just black. It's black with a little bit extra going on there, such as this nice little stripe through here. I can't even remember the name of the color of that, but then a low-profile Harley-Davidson logo underneath. And then, of course, you have your steel braided lines and a few other little benefits here and there. You do have an inverted front on a twin-cam softail with dual rotors there, and LED lighting, some nice bars, and this looks like it's got a little bit of a pullback to it, make it a little more comfortable. Does have a really cool screen I'll show you there in a little bit later, and that is the 110 Screaming Eagle twin-cam motor, so it's a lot of fun. You got forward controls, and it does look really good with this little chin spooler here. Really connects the bike nice. And you see that same style is carried on over to the massive rear wheel, nice rear fender, and same great looking style on this side. And now, one of the biggest things to note on this bike is that it does have this 2-to-2 Vance & Hines exhaust. The big radius pipe, I believe it is. And it sounds pretty good. So we'll crank it up for you. Let's hear what it sounds like. That's pretty loud. Do these nice low-profile mirrors. These are some of my favorite mirrors that you can get. Just nice low-profile, but you can still see. They look good, but you can still see a lot up there, which is really nice. So, yeah, let it warm up a little bit. This bike does have ABS. That's cool, and cruise control. Look at that. So that's really nice. Yeah, it's CVO, but it's not too flashy. Still has that dark, blacked out look to it with a little pop of color here. So I really like this gauge. You can see it a lot on it. Front and center is this big analog tachometer, digital speed underneath it. Miles on the bike, you'll see this bike has just under 19,000, and it has a digital fuel gauge, so I can cycle through, see my trip A, B, fuel range, clock, a digital RPM, and then back to my odometer. So see a lot of really cool stuff, and it's very similar to kind of how a lot of the some of the gauges are laid out now. So it's always cool to look back at older bikes now that we've seen some newer ones and see, okay, well, this cruise control and this gauge, like, these look pretty similar to a lot we have now. So it's nice to kind of see some of the early versions there. And this is Breakout, but steers pretty good. Obviously, it's not going to turn quite on a dime like some of your other machines, like the Fat Bob or the Lowrider, but it still turns pretty good. There's just something about that big radius, which Vance & Hines and the twin cam, they're always going to put out some sound. But this big radius, just the way it blasts the ground around you, there is no sneaking up on anybody with this machine. That's for sure. So you got pretty good braking. All right. Yeah, I do love this pullback. I've ridden an M8 Softail or Breakout that has a pullback plate on it like this, and it's a game changer. It helps. It makes the bike so much more comfortable. At least for me, and I really like to ride in this upright position. You know, if you're putting some miles on, I just like to be very upright and cozy like this. So it helps. Ooh, that's not ideal. Somebody lost a caliper bolt. Ask me how I know what a car's caliper bolt looks like. Look at that. I'm going to put it in my pocket and be a good citizen. I'm going to throw it away when we get to the dealership. I'd hate to kick that up and somebody tear their tire up with that or pollute. I always hate seeing litter. The Milwaukee 8s are fantastic motors, but you can't argue with the character of a good twin cam, especially a 110. That's a 6 gear. Look at that. This is a perfect day for a bike like this. This is very nice. Got some good power. Pick it right back up. That's nice. A little slow over here. Kind of get over here to the side so we can make sure there's nothing underneath these cars gonna come out at us. Now, one thing about the Breakout is it does corner, but it's not obviously going to corner quite as well as your lowrider and bikes made for that. This bike is a little bit more for like your drag era of bikes, where it was low and quick in more of a straight line. You know, big emphasis on the torque. But I mean, this bike you can still have some fun with. Hit some corners, no doubt. But you're probably, it's going to be a little bit tougher to push on some of those tighter turns than, like I was saying, some of those bikes are really made for it. Hello. I just thought they were going to go for it. I didn't realize they were going to stop right there. Gotta always be ready. Kind of one of the nice things about having a bike like this, it's a little bit quicker. And you have that torque and acceleration on hand. Nice little part about that is on the phone. Nice. Nice little part about that is you can. Sometimes you need a quick throttle blip just as much as you need some good brakes. You know, there's a lot of times where there's situations that might be kind of sketchy with another driver right there, and sometimes it's going to feel safer just to give it a quick little blip, just to go ahead and get right past him or something. Not saying right back then was the place for a blip like that, but there's probably would have been better to like kind of ease on the brakes. But sometimes it's nice to have a lot of torque on hand just to be able to, let me go ahead and get past whatever's going on over here. You know, forward controls are nice. All matching collection down there, looking good. Some chrome on a Harley, I'll admit, is kind of nice. I like it a lot, but sometimes an all blacked out bike is the way to go, and that really works for this 2016 Harley-Davidson CVO Breakout. Little cruise control. No, you gotta be in third for cruise control. Yeah. Something tells me this person's a little outdoorsy. Now that's a good time to slow down there. When there's a big vehicle right there, and you know there's a good chance the car in front of you doesn't see you behind that car. All right, well here it is. So thank you guys for riding along with us and checking out this 2016 Harley-Davidson CVO Breakout. So if you want to know more about this thing, be sure to come see us right here at Tobacco Road Harley-Davidson, Raleigh, North Carolina.